Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what an interesting day in the market, especially in the aftermarket. If you hadn't seen what Micron reported, I will tell you all about that. We've been talking about it for a while. We talked about the chart and what it could do as far as setting the tone. So again, this is going to have a big effect tomorrow on the semiconductor sector, which is what the Qs need to do to try to catch up with the SPY, which we're going to talk about that because it was a move made last week by, big funds that might surprise you. It doesn't surprise me. It probably won't surprise you, honestly, now that I think about it. But to see if we're going to get one of these, concentration type moves up in the market. And I'll show you what I'm talking about that. We'll talk about Micron, what that can effect it can have, and what effect it's having on semiconductors after the market opens. Also, big day tomorrow as far as news. I mean, we got major speakers. I'm going to go over that right out of the gates right here in just a second. And of course, I'll leave you with something funny. It has to do with Visa if you don't know anything about that one. And Nancy Pelosi, because it's sad and hilarious at the same time in a way. So anyway, we look at what's going on tomorrow. Like, this is big news. Again, right out of the gates, 8:30, GDP, unemployment claims, durable goods, final GDP, tons of Fed speakers. Wouldn't worry about them too much. But then there's Fed Pow at 9:20. All right, so all this is before the bell even opens. Then you're going to have pending home sales. And then Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen speaks at 11:15 a.m. So that could absolutely move markets for sure. Remember, they take the data to move the market where they want to move it. But if GDP comes in soft and unemployment claims in higher than expected, well, watch out now. And obviously you saw Micron. And for those who hadn't seen Micron, obviously this one's up about actually 13% since I'm started recording this. It was up about 8, 9. It's going to fluctuate and everything. But they started coming out with things saying, okay, everything looks higher than what they forecasted it, double beat, all that good stuff. And again, we have talked about this one for days now, okay? How the chart was setting up, that trend line was in place, it was down to the golden pocket. All this confluence setting up for this, and it was setting up bullish. And shocker, good thing they reported good earnings, of course. I think if they just reported what they expected to be, I think it still would have went up. But you can see where it's at right now. Right in this volume gap, flew right through it, sitting there, near resistance somewhere in that area. We'll see how it holds overnight, what it's going to report tomorrow. I thought what was really interesting when I started going through and scrolling through the other semiconductors. But you can see AMD, when we scroll down, about 1%, SMCI, close to 1%. NVIDIA was the big one today. We'll go over that one too. Right around 1% as I'm recording this. The good news is for those who bought straight calls, if you were, just trying to play the earnings, the expected move for the beginning of the week was 13%. It came down to 9%. So roughly, if you finish, if this opens up over that 9%, you should be looking really pretty and not get IV crushed. Again, let's put in the comments if you're riding that out. Now, NVIDIA, what it do? It came right up here to the penny on that trend line. So we were looking for to see if it was going to retest this trend line where it's been rejected multiple times. So, and that's where we got rejected, but it held, right? So tomorrow, if MU holds, you would think, and of course all this data coming out is, what the market wants to see. It should actually gap up above that line right there, and then you start to see a breakout even higher. And we're just going to draw horizontal lines. You can see the levels for yourself right here, right? I mean, 130, 135, 145, and $5 increments, right? So if MU comes out ablazing, obviously semiconductors are going to roll right with it. So look for 130-ish tomorrow maybe. That should be in the cards. Again, it would depend a lot on that data coming out, okay? And then if Jerome Powell is bullish, hawkish, bearish, whatever you want to call it, right? But one thing to watch out for is rotation, okay? In order to get the Qs up, you're going to have to see money rotate, right? And you're seeing it come out. That's why the SPY has been lagging in the last couple of days and where the money's been going. And this is what you want to see. And you should see SOX up even more tomorrow if this holds. But if XLK and SOX and then the MAG 8, as I like to call them now, if they're rolling, then the Qs are going to start outperforming the SPY and it's going to catch up to it, okay? And you saw today right out of the gates, as I put in the Discord, it was these tech flows coming in, Tesla, Apple, Baba. There's a bunch of more just coming out, NVIDIA and stuff, just rolling. And I believe NVIDIA had the most bullish flow, right? Right out of the gates, millions of dollars worth. And it was pushing up right out of the gates as well. Super volatile today, right? Another one's going to be Tesla. Okay, this one here is just grinding up against. So maybe tomorrow you see this break out of this channel. The other reason I keep saying this is because what happened last week. Look what they did. They were all into bonds. And look what last week was. All about the large caps. 23 billion. You got some U.S. broad equity market exposure on 9 billion, but you don't see that much in small caps. You don't see that much in mid caps. And what do you see IWM do today? It dropped about 1.25%, right? The Dow was down, the SPY was down, and there the Qs was pretty much green almost all day. It kept fluctuating slightly red, but for the most part, it was up. And we've seen this this movie before, right? Where they start flooding into those large stocks and stuff because they're kind of like safe havens now. Got all the cash, still got growth, all that fun stuff, and now with China doing what they're doing, that means Apple's earnings might go up, Tesla's earnings might go up even more, that kind of stuff. And I'll show you something else China actually did today, just to show you how bad off they really are. Now on SPY, you can see the same thing's been happening, right? We eclipse a new all-time high, we sell off. We eclipse a new all-time high today, right out of the gates, sold back down, but we're still right here, following that trend line up, still in this little formation right here. So we'll see tomorrow. Obviously, it should open higher, assuming the SPY, the sectors in the SPY open up green as well, and not just the stocks. But when you look, here's the Qs, right? Held where it needed to hold, right? Broke that level. Where it was resistance before, ends up holding as support today. And of course, in after hours, I can tell you right now, NQ, you can imagine, it's going green. So we'll see if we get to fill that gap tomorrow. Again, assuming data comes out the way they like it. They can dump it hard in the morning if data does not, and still try to run it up. But you can see China's so bad off now, they announced today they're going to give cash handouts to the poor. They didn't say what amount, but they did say by October 1st, they're going to start handing stuff out. So I don't know how much money that's going to be, but you got to think to yourself, why are they giving this to the poor and not anybody else? Because the poor has no savings. They have to go out and spend it. So basically they're taking government money, handing it to the poor people and saying, here you go. They know it's going to go straight back in the economy, which is going to do what to their numbers now. When they start reporting economic numbers, it's automatically going to go up. That's what they're saying by October 1st. We want the money out. Right, so then they start reporting the next quarter. They go, oh, look at this right here. Next month, oh, our sales, everything's just going up. Yeah, because you basically just paid people to go out and spend it. Right, you didn't give it to the middle class, the rich. You gave it to them because you know it's going straight in there. And because they also know, look at Baba, for example, what they did to their stocks. This thing just hit its IPO price. It IPO'd back in 2015. So you can get this same stock today what you bought it for in 2015. That's what they did to their stock market. That's what they've done to their economy. Again, I still don't know how you fix the real estate market over there. Now, I thought it was something that was pretty funny. Thought you'd get a kick out of it, and it's sad at the same time. But Visa dropped because they have this antitrust lawsuit going on now, and that takes months to get together to finally actually get your ducks in a row and announce that. And you can see right here, old Nancy Pelosi and this other guy, what they do. John James sold all his shares on September 6th. Nancy Pelosi on July 2nd, she sold almost 500,000 to 1 million, somewhere in that range. The other guy is only 1 to 15K, but understand that this is nothing new. We all know this about Nancy and all of them. Both sides of the aisle do it. She's just the most famous for it because her and her husband are so good at it. But here is something back in 2008 that had something else to do with credit cards and an investment her and her husband was making, and I love her reaction right here. It's priceless.
I wanted to ask you why you and your husband back in March of 2008 accepted and participated in a very large IPO deal from Visa. At a time there was major legislation affecting their credit card companies making its way through the House. And did you consider that to be a conflict of interest?
I don't know what your point is of your question. Is there some point that you want to make with that?
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, do you think it's all right for a speaker to accept a very preferential, favorable stock deal?
Well, we did.
And you participated in the IPO.
Well, I have many
and at the time you were Speaker of the House. You don't think it was a conflict of interest or had the appearance of a conflict of interest?
It only has the appearance if you decide that you're going to have elaborate on a false premise. But it's not true, and that's that.
I don't understand what part's not true.
Yes, sir. That I would act upon an investment.
And so again, both sides of the aisle do it. It's criminal, to be honest with you. And again, it takes months to build up a case like this against a large company before you're going to announce it. Because the government, they move like a snail's pace, right? So she knew, right? This other guy especially knew. He sold like 3 weeks ago, but at least his was small. Hers was a whole boatload of shares. And so, as soon as she got whiff of that, she was like, it's time to sell. But I didn't tell him anything. Of course not. There was one guy. He's a Republican up there. He used to be a football coach from Alabama, which is my home state, where I'm from. This dude does like 10 trades a day or something. I don't even know when he does his job, to be honest with you. It's nuts. But he does. He had no finance degree or nothing. Just, I guess when he was doing football, he learned how to do the stock market, I guess. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Let me know what you think down at the bottom. Now, when it comes to earnings, there's only one to even look at. It's going to be Costco, and that really is it. You can look at CarMax if you want to. you know, so see how that one's going. But basically, it's going to be Costco. And this one's been very popular and everything, but they'll let us know what they're really seeing on the home front and everything. So anyway, tomorrow's going to be super busy for the bell. I'll get the morning news brief out as early as possible. Might even wait until the news comes out for this one just because there's so much going on. But again, let me know if you remember in the comments what you'd like to see on that one. But anyway, please hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. Really appreciate it. Thanks for you who share the video and stuff. Feel free to sign up for the membership and you'll get that morning news brief and 2 extra videos a week in the Discord, which everybody seems to like. So anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.